Hi, my name is Jimena Magana, and I'm going to be presenting my PowerPoint on poverty and its effects on education. So, a topic overview and general background about my topic. How does experiencing poverty as a student hinder one's education? It puts unnecessary stress on students, it limits their access to helpful tools, and is an overall major factor in which students cannot focus on their education because of it. Those who experience poverty not only have to worry about homework or passing a test or, what's going on at school, but if there's going to be any food to eat when they get home or if they're going to be cold throughout the night. Data also shows that higher percentages of Hispanic, African American, American Indian, and Alaska Native Pacific Islander students attended high poverty schools more than white students, as well as underscoring that poverty is also an issue of equity that must be addressed. So not only are they experiencing poverty, minorities are not experiencing equity. Just a simple continuation of my overview. Quote, students living in poverty often have fewer resources at home to complete homework, study, or engage in activities that helps equip them for success during the school day. It's not a coincidence that these minorities not only don't do as well in school, but are experiencing the same outside factors that are hindering their learning. Poverty cannot excuse failure. This is just the title of an article that I was using. It sounds very harsh, but it was a really good article. Quote, children from disadvantaged backgrounds tend to achieve less academically. It is true, but this is due to a school system and teachers that don't meet their needs, not because the students themselves are inherently lack potential. So Blackman believes that these students are capable. It's the teachers and the school system that are failing them by not meeting their needs and not helping them enough. And he even proved that many schools demonstrate success in their students, whether they were low income or not. Just continuing with that slide, if students aren't learning, it is within the teacher and the school's power and their professional responsibility to adapt teaching methods and attitudes to better meet student needs. Like I said, he really believes it's all in the school system. He doesn't believe that the children should really have to, kind of say anything or speak up for these teachers to do their job, essentially. He also mentions that state and district level policies are distributing funds to schools equally, instead of campuses that need it more, and that's part of the problem. So they are distributing funds equally, but not equitably. A campus that might be more stable is getting the same amount as a povertized campus, and that's an issue that he mentions, is they really need to pay attention to how stable the campuses are, and they need to provide more funding where necessary, even if that means giving less to a school that is better well off. This just goes on to mention that the most underserved teachers, students, and communities are also left with fewer resources to work with, which is not a good thing. So what can we do about it? Successfully educating all students to high standards is critical to ultimately eliminating poverty. These focus a lot on the teachers and staff rather than the kids, which I really like. It says to challenge ourselves, our biases, our prejudices. We need to keep stocks of all school supplies, snacks, and other basic necessities handy for students and find a way to make them available without singling anybody out. It also wants us to challenge our colleagues when they stigmatize poor students and their parents and assign work requiring extra school materials only when it is available for them. So for example, if they don't have a computer, don't be assigning work that needs a computer at home. Just continuing that slide, having a positive effect on poverty and education comes down to more than just funding. So we must attack issues like course rigor and teacher quality and accountability that are present in all schools. Low-income children need our most expert teachers, and unless our schools are held accountable for the achievement of all groups of children, too many will continue to sweep poor outcomes under the rug. So again, going back to just really focusing on the teachers and acknowledging that they may need to work harder and the kids will succeed. My specific opposing viewpoint, the first one is having a positive effect on poverty and education comes down to more than just funding. Like the slide I just said, funding is only one piece of minimizing the effect on povertized students' education. So in my personal opinion, the right support by all staff is needed. The child needs their own sense of drive and motivation, and support at home is also needed. All of these factors working together would definitely help the child. Not a single factor on its own would be able to help a child, at least I don't think. They need to have a sense of motivation to work hard. They need to feel supported by authorities, and they need to have the support from home to succeed in any way that the help is available when they are outside of the classroom. My second one, poverty can be a determining factor for a student not to succeed. Blackman disagrees. Poverty in itself is not an insurmountable barrier to learning. While it is tied to academic struggles along with factors like race and zip code, it doesn't determine outcomes. So he believes that poverty, you can overcome it and that shouldn't be essentially your only excuse for not being able to succeed in school. Last but not least, an opposing viewpoint number 3. I really like this one, so I added it in here. Although teachers in education are a tremendous source of guidance, support, and help, they are not the only factor that can make someone successful. Blackman also disagrees with me on this one. He says, I owe all of my success as a professional lawyer and civil rights activist to education and to good teachers that supported me throughout my life. I have also had some really great teachers, but if it weren't for my own drive, as well as like the support I had from home or the materials I was able to have and had the opportunity to be able to access, I don't think I'd be as successful as I would today. So I definitely countered him on that one. And then just a quote about teachers. When children and adolescents know that their teachers care about them and are trying their best to relate to the realities of their lives, they become far more inclined to trust and actively engage in learning. My personal perspective regarding the effect of poverty on students' education. Something super important to me, especially wanting to be an educator. I want to know everything I can do in my power to help someone going through that in my classroom. I can't imagine going home and having, to not necessarily worry about homework, but if I'm going to eat that night or if I'm going to be cold through the night. So looking back, I had a rough couple years in my elementary school, but looking at them now, I definitely took those issues for granted because a lot of kids my age were going through something way worse. And then just a quote I wanted to add about poverty. Poverty not only affects education at the institutional level, but it also affects learners on a personal level. Opportunities can seem limited for poor students, and the children's ability and willingness to take advantage of existing opportunities may be limited. And these are my resources. Thank you.